Hey, friends. Mia Juliana here, and I am coming back at you with some more emotional intelligence tips for you to take into your social life, your work life, and your home life. So, before we get started, I am a health coach, and what I work primarily in is emotional wellness for professionals and helping them relieve stress and overcome anxiety as they work to find that work life balance. And today, what we're going to tap into is relationship management. This is huge. A lot of people hear relationship and you think friends, husband, wife, fiance, family, things of that nature. But work relationships are critical as well. So, all of these tactics can be taken to your professional career as well as taking them home to friends and family and helping you really increase that EQ or emotional intelligence score. So, relationship management, what does that actually mean? Relationship management means building long term bonds with others through you utilizing self awareness, self management, and social awareness. And as you emit those good quality behaviors and increase your EQ using those three other the four pillars, then you are increasing long-term bonds with people. You are building long-term bonds with people that can last for decades and decades. In addition to building those bonds, you have learned and um, you have shown that you know how to relieve conflict. You know how to successfully handle conflict without being the cause of conflict. And those people who have high IQs, pardon me, those people who have high EQs know exactly how to do this because being socially able to handle someone who is completely different from you, has completely different views, and to the inept person that is not emotionally intelligent, that might lead to an argument because your political view is this way or that way, or your social view is this way or that way, or your view about this pizza is this way or that way. And I absolutely disagree. That is the non emotionally intelligent person's way of handling it. You can disagree. Okay, I disagree with that, and we may have to agree to disagree. I also want to let you know that perhaps this is another way you could think about X, Y, and Z and talk through it. It sounds so simple. With a lot of practice, it can be simple. But those people who have high IQs, I keep saying IQ, I'm human. Those people who have high EQs are great at managing relationships well, and they're great at handling conflict. They tend to be great leaders because of this. Think about it. The people who are leading, they have to know how to lead other people. So when they are great at handling conflict and they're great at building long-term bonds, then they tend to be the great team players, the great leaders. They have great interpersonal communication because they know how to reflect within themselves and figure out how best can I say this to get the result that I want. Have you ever heard the term, you get more bees with honey? You do. So if you come out talking to people like a jerk or an a-hole, ain't nobody coming to get that. That ain't honey. That's not sweet, right? So if you come to people with great interpersonal communication skills and you come to people dismantling conflict and you come to people saying, I want to build a long term bond, I want us to have a great team, then they're looked at as leaders. And they can also be great team players who may one day be great leaders. But other ways to implement relationship management is always acknowledging the other person's feelings, whether or not you agree with them. So this one can be a challenge, but an acknowledgement can simply be, I hear how you feel. I hear that you feel hurt, and leave it at that. You don't have to go into a long essay or novel about their feelings or emotions, but simply just letting them know that I hear that you're hurt. I acknowledge that you're hurt or that you're sad. I acknowledge that I hurt your feelings, and moving on from there. But that is great relationship management when you can at least acknowledge. Focusing on solutions rather than blame is a critical factor in emotional intelligence because Blame just causes resentment. And this one is one I have to sigh on because when you're raising a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old, they're always pointing the blame to somebody else for something. And teaching them to be emotionally intelligent is a challenge now, but I know starting now, they'll get it and they'll have it down packed by the time they are, 10, 11, 12. And as adults that are working professionals, when you can go into a situation and not look to place blame on anyone and rather just focus on solutions, life is so much easier. The stress is relieved. The overwhelm does not need to happen because now you're just focusing on solutions. That's all we have to do, just focus on solutions. Being selfless is something that we've talked about. As you see some of these topics, as you watch the other videos that I've made for you, a lot of these things are reiterated. Being selfless and putting your ego aside was talked about in social awareness. Focusing and being an active listener was talked about in social awareness. Being self-aware and focusing on how you can really change what your ego is saying. All these things are kind of being reiterated because they all flow together and they're all going to help you become a better emotional intelligent person. Because when you take your ego out, then no longer can situations and relationships be destroyed. When your ego is in the middle of everything, then it's like the world revolves around you, and we know that ain't it. That is not how the world goes, right? So be willing to bend when you need to. If you need to bend to help someone, or you need to bend to kind of see a different perspective or point of view, be willing to bend and do that. And be willing to admit when you're wrong. We're not always right. I know sometimes you probably feel like you are, but just know that there's times that you're wrong. I know that there are times that I have to admit that I'm wrong, and it burns, it stings, but I got to do it, And sometimes admit you're wrong, even when you think that you're right. And that is growth. When you can do that, you have reached emotional intelligence. You have increased that EQ by a mile, my friend. So be interested in others. This goes back to finding commonalities that we talked about in the other video. Find ways to help them. Stay in touch. Reach out. That is something that I'm huge on. Reaching out to people. You never know when somebody just needs someone to care enough to say, hello, how are you? Simple. Sounds so very simple. But honestly, if you take that time and just be interested in other people, again, you're showing them that you value them. You're showing them that they matter. And you're opening up that building a long-term bond scenario. So, number 5, thinking of what you want out of your relationship. Stability, emotional support, communication. These are needs that people close to you probably need as well. So, whatever you want out of your relationship, try to tailor that in to the relationship and see if that's going to cover what they need. If it doesn't, then find out what else they might need. Smiling often. This is huge. We talked about this in another video because when you smile and laugh often, not only is it good for you psychologically and it releases good endorphins in the body, but when you smile, even when you don't feel like it, then you are letting other people know that you're approachable, that they can come and talk to you, that you're kind, that you're warm. So smiling can not only affect you and give you good endorphins psychologically, but it can help emit good energy to others around you. So give others your time and your energy as you can. Don't expect much in return. What we're doing is we're just serving. There's a phrase called a servant leader. And when you can serve others and help them get what they want, then you get what you want. So if the other person reciprocates, consider it a gift and show genuine gratitude because now they're being a servant leader to you. So lastly here, our last point is keep an open mind about other people. Enjoy those things that make them different from you and celebrate your differences. This goes back to what we talked about in the last video about commonalities. Reflect on how those differences add richness to your own life. So find those differences that people have. And you may not be trying to find a commonality right now, but just keep an open mind. Put judgment and criticism on the shelf and say, you know what, this person is different, but there's some richness there. That culture is different from mine. Wow, I didn't know that existed. I just learned something. When you allow your mind to open up and receive people as they are, then you learn some new things. And those are all of the critical ways that you can be a little bit more adept to being a high emotionally intelligent person with great relationship management skills. And if you'd like to learn more about emotional intelligence and how I help people overcome emotional eating, relieve stress, overcome anxiety, and really motivate people to be their best selves, then click on the link down below in the description and click like and subscribe for more videos from me. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to have you a part of my masterclass or even work with you one-on-one or in a group. So click like, click subscribe, follow me here on YouTube, and also have a great day. We'll talk again in the next video. Bye.